Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Woodbine on Sunday is the Grade 2 Nassau Stakes. This is a one-turn mile on the turf for fillies and mares. And get involved with a DRF Bets account. Deposit $100 with DRF Bets. Play with $250. Learn more at bets.drf.com. Here's the field for this year's edition of the Nassau. We only have 6, but we do have Starship Jubilee, Mike, who was named Canada's champion female turf horse the last 2 years, and she's coming into this race off a facile win in the Sunshine Millions filly and mare turf.
Right. She's a short price on the morning line, and she's just way the horse to beat in here. She's run a bunch of fast races. The mile is a really good distance for her. She likes this turf course, and last time we saw her, she was in really good form. On top of all that, there's just not that much pace in this race, Dan, and she could just go right to the front here. It'd be really tough to run down.
Excellent segue into our Timeform U.S. pace projector for this year's Nassau, and there she is, the number 3 Starship Jubilee, loose in a blue bar scenario. That means that this race might favor horses on or near the early lead. Starship Jubilee doesn't need the lead to succeed, but you give the best horse the best trip, and boy, she's going to be awfully tough at a short price.
Yeah, those things are all true. I mean, it just feels like not only she just might be a little better than these horses, but boy, she might have just the best trip in the race as well.
Second choice on the morning line, the number 5 Secret Message, might have some work to do because Timeform US has her last in the early going, but I kind of liked her return to the races. Her first start as a 4-year-old in that stakes race, the Dahlia at Laurel, there really wasn't a lot of pace signed on. She was sort of mid-pack. She got a very clean trip, but she was able to grind it out late. I think if she can build off that effort, she has a shot. She showed some quality last year for Graham Motion.
Yeah, she did. She was a pretty good 3-year-old, and it feels like maybe she took a step forward at 4. And, you know, they came home fast in that race, and she was still able to run down a pretty good horse at La Moneda, too. So she did a lot of good things last time. I think a race like that makes her dangerous, but, you know, once again, she's up against it from a pace scenario here.
It looked like Ghostly Presence was coming into form as a 3-year-old. It's a shame we only saw her twice in 2018, once in this race last year where she was a pace presence for a short while before tiring. She made a return off about 11-month layoff last time out on the synth. I like the fact that she showed some speed that day. I think she can sit a good trip in here. The question is she ready to take on the big girls in only her second start off such a long break?
Right. She was getting good before that unfortunate layoff, and it, you know, just led to sort of a non-existent 4-year-old campaign for her, but she's pretty good, and she does have enough speed from the rail. I mean, I'd be surprised if they went after Starship Jubilee early in here, but she could just sit up close and get a good trip in this race.
Summer Luck ran on the synth last time out in her first start as a 5-year-old. I thought it was a decent enough performance. There wasn't, again, a ton of pace in that race. It seemed that speed was holding up over the Tapeta surface at Woodbine on May 5th. Summer Luck was able to make it close, but when you go over her past performances, most of her lines are dotted with seconds and thirds.
Yeah, not a lot of wins. It looks like she is probably equally good, maybe on all 3 surfaces, but, you know, she certainly handles turf as well as the other 2. I just don't know that her best race is really going to be good enough in a field like this one.
Let's go to the outside with Red Cabernet, a horse that I guess might be able to show a little bit of speed stretching out from 6 furlongs, although she has raced on turf in middle distances in the past, and she has shown an affinity from coming off. She is another one, making her second start of the year. I just didn't see enough in her most recent race to indicate that she's ready for the hike into the graded stakes ranks.
Yeah, the first start back certainly wasn't her best effort. She has to do a lot better than that. And it's not like she has a bunch of races in her past that make her a big contender here either.
Let's take a look at our top picks in the Grade 2 Nassau Stakes. Listen, Starship Jubilee is the horse to beat, but Mike, I want to hear your thoughts on the 4, Get Explicit, who attracts Patrick Husbands for a good trainer in Barb Minchell. I think you could argue she's getting a little bit of a class drop in here. Last time out in the Hillsborough, she was in against Rimska, who came back to run second in the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley with a 97 buyer. Get Explicit was last early. It looked like she was picking up some horses towards the end of that race. Now, it doesn't appear she has a lot of speed. She's up against it from a pace standpoint, but I'm expecting her to do a little bit of late running, and she likes Woodbine.
Yeah, I am too. Listen, I liked her in the Endeavor. I thought she was interested in that race. I didn't think she ran that well in there. But you know what? She didn't have to love, you know, being down in Florida for the winter. Back at home at Woodbine, she could do better. She was heading the right way last year. I think she's interested. More to the point that you just brought up, though. she doesn't feel like a horse who has a lot of speed on turf. And she's going to have a lot to do in the stretch in this race, but she's pretty good.
But Starship Jubilee, the one to catch and beat. She has won this race in the past, and her tactical speed just gives her a major edge.
Yeah, I went 3-4-1 in this race. I just felt like it was pretty tough to beat that Starship Jubilee with her good race.
And I'm going 4-3-5, and I would use the 3 and 4 in multiple race wagers. It's the Grade 2 Nassau Stakes. It's the Sunday feature at Woodbine, and it's a nice card at Woodbine on Sunday. So please get involved with a DRF Bets account. Deposit $100, play with $250. DRF Bets is easy as ready, set, bet. An approximate post time for the Grade 2 Nassau, 4:55 Eastern. Good luck.